Oh, hey everybody, welcome to the awesomeo.com live before lock show, where I am currently replying to things in our Slack chat before we go live. Yeah, welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in. If you are not currently subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that, like this video, all that stuff. Participate in the chat if you have any questions. I'm Chris Spags, joined by Jake, the baseball savant. Hari, Jake, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm excited for the slate, and yeah, hopefully the weather holds off in Baltimore, so we don't have to take out all of our Yankees and Orioles exposure if you have Orioles exposure, and yeah,
Yeah, so that's going to be my first question because I currently have a couple Yankees in the one entry I am doing for the $12 single entry on DraftKings. What are we currently thinking with that game? It's in red alert on some sites which track such things. So what are you feeling?
uh, what'd you say it was?
Red alert? I don't know. They have red on Moto blinders.
Okay. I didn't look at that, but I will look at the AccuWeather.
Okay.
So the first thing that
Give
pops
us
up, first thing that
give
pops
us your
up
weather
is
breakdown, Jake.
yeah.
If you can.
Let's see. I've got like
Yep.
a billion tabs open right now, so we'll see if I can get this loaded. So if the stream cuts out, it's probably my fault. But
Okay. It's a sacrifice we make for weather news. Up to date.
yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it doesn't look great. Man, I don't. Yeah. So that's a lot worse than what I saw earlier today. It looked like they might be able to just have a late start, but it depends how long they want to wait, right? So if they want to wait through all this storm, I don't know how many hours it's going to take, maybe a couple to maybe three, but I don't know. Hopefully we know in the next half an hour or 45 minutes if they're going to even try to delay it and wait, or if they just postpone it. Like, I'd rather they just postpone it and get out of the way if they're going to do that, right? So
Yeah, I mean, so that's a little worrisome, I guess. We'll keep an eye on that. Trying to think. So where would you pivot then? If, let's say, I think we had the Yankees projected originally to be higher owned.
mhm.
Obviously, a pretty good matchup with Andrew Cashner, pretty good Vegas total. Where would you pivot then if you were on the Yankees, who are pretty highly priced? Where would you go instead?
Yeah. Well, I love the Astros. So I'll be kind of mad actually if they postpone the Yankees game, just because I don't want all that exposure to go over to the Astros. Um, the Astros are my most heavily owned stack on the night. Um, some interest in the Cubs, and then Josh Josh loves the Indians against my boy Odorizzi. Um, and then the Mariners. We talked about the Mariners before the show. I really, really like the Mariners. It's gonna be hard to like move all your Yankees exposure if you're paying up for Stanton and Judge, just because they're so expensive. There's not a ton of expensive bats that I'm in love with outside of Houston. So I don't know. I mean, you're gonna have to leave some salary on the table, or make some adjustments to your lineup if that game gets canceled.
Yeah, so that's where we're at right now. I currently have a 5-2-1 stack with two Yankees in my lineup, so I'm probably going to take them out while we do the show. Got to figure out how to spend that money. What about at pitcher tonight? Actually, one question about Kershaw: is he on a pitch count or anything like that?
I saw some people talking about that. I haven't seen if he's on a pitch count, like officially. So I honestly do not know. I don't have much Kershaw tonight, so I'll say that. He didn't look
I didn't
great.
love the matchup.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, Hoskins out of the lineup is a bump for Kershaw, but like still Althair and Santana and Franco, Kingery, these guys have all shown they can hit lefties very well. First game back for Kershaw, he didn't look great even before, before he got injured, and it wasn't because of velocity. He may have just lost a step. After all these years, like he was 64th in whiffs per swing percentage, like just over 30% chase rate, which is not all that great for him. Swinging strike rate under 12. I mean, he was good, but I don't know if he was the Kershaw of old. Actually, he wasn't the Kershaw of old, so I'm tentatively off of him.
Yeah, and I think too the Phillies are third in the league in on base percentage versus a lefty this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting on base a fair amount by walks, 12%, striking out at league average. So they're not. I mean, they're not like a bad team. I don't know. It just seemed like a matchup where like I don't want Kershaw coming off of a bicep injury, going against a team who grades out pretty well. I'm not dying to play the Phillies either, but I definitely don't think it's a perfect spot for Kershaw's return. What else would you do at pitcher then if you're not going to go Kershaw?
Yeah, so I ended up right now with the most Wade LeBlanc. And he.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought that too in the beginning. Like both him and Minor, I was like, you know what? Neither looks that bad, but I'm not going there.
Yeah, I'm not going to Minor. He really, really worries me. LeBlanc actually doesn't, and I mean, I don't think he's gonna like get you 25 DK points or anything, but 5,500, I think he can get you 18 DraftKings points, and at that price, with the bats you can get when you spend up. You can play Kershaw or Nola or one of these high-priced guys that you like with LeBlanc and then still get all the bats that you like too. So that's the appeal for him. I talked about like his chase rate and stuff lately, amongst the highest in the league for the last month. Actually, I think it was highest in the league, which is pretty crazy. Wade LeBlanc making the most people chase, but and then the Rangers just swing and miss so much. Beltre back in the lineup downgrades LeBlanc a little bit, but the other 8 guys I'm really, really not scared of.
All right, I can live with that. People asking about Bieber, a pretty highly rated prospect. I guess I don't know if this is his first start, but actually I think it is his first start. Coming up, what do you think about him tonight? Would you play him? I mean, it's not a great matchup. But no, what do you think?
Yeah, it's not a great matchup. I have some Bieber. He in AAA, 10 starts, 1.1 ERA, and then he just threw 7 no-hit innings with 7 Ks in his last start on Friday. He's like a top prospect. I mean, it's hard not to take a chance on him or a few chances on him at 7,300 just because he looks awesome. So yeah, I mean, I don't have I'm not like all in on him or anything, but for 7,300, I think he makes for a pretty solid play.
Yeah, I mean, he's going against the Twins. Twins not towards the lower half of the league in terms of on base percentage. Let's see where okay power, but not anything super worrisome there. League average strikeout rate. So yeah, I mean, if you were going to play him, I guess that is a spot to play him. It's not a fantastic Vegas total. But, yeah, I'm with you. He's a little interesting. Who else in that range stands out? I think we have Quintana being one of the higher-owned guys on the slate, at least on DraftKings. I like him a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I like him a lot. I'm worried about the ownership, and I talked about that in the Spotlight Pitchers. So I may actually come in under the field on Quintana, where we have him right now. But I'm actually sort of around that benchmark, which I'm pretty comfortable with. There are some pivots, but Quintana's probably got the best matchup on the night. Lefty against the Mets, just one of the lowest WRC pluses, like high strikeout rates, all of that. Bautista in the lineup, Mesoraco in the lineup. They don't really scare me all that much for Quintana, so I mean, I really like him. It's just an ownership thing that's going to be keeping me from going all in on him.
How about Jordan Lyles?
Yeah, I've got some Lyles too. Actually, I don't know how much Lyles I ended up with, but I like him. 7,100 against the Marlins, decent run total. I thought he'd be more popular as the day went on, and I'm interested to see where he ends up. We've got him pretty low owned, so if he's there, then yeah.
It's interesting to me. I mean, we've debated Jordan Lyles a little bit early on, and then he had one really good outing, and then 2 really, really bad outings.
Mm-hmm.
So you've kind of seen both sides of the spectrum, but going against Miami, I mean, I don't mind that at all. And Lyles has shown he's at least competent enough, and if he's going to make your lineup a little less chalky, I don't mind him. Yeah, I don't know.
Right, and I said to Josh this morning that like I'm kind of on all the chalky stacks. I'm on the Yankees, I'm on the Astros really heavy, like the Braves and the Cubs. So like I'm just trying to mix it up with pitching. And we know Quintana's going to be pretty chalky. We know Kershaw's going to get ownership, and Nola So, I mean, I like going with a Lyles who's going to be significantly lower owned than Quintana if you're making a bunch of tournament lineups.
Yeah, that's fair. Would you play Quintana and Bieber together? I mean, I think if we don't mind them individually, that seems fine to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's no issue. They're not going up against each other. So if you're worried about the 2 wins or whatever, no issue playing both of them. I don't think you have to pay up for any pitcher tonight.
Do you have any thoughts on the Pirate stack and also its potential sneakiness?
I'm not on it. I didn't try to stack up the Pirates, so I just respect Flaherty. I think that he's a pretty good pitcher, not giving up a ton of hard contact. He's just all right for me. So probably no full Pirate stacks for me.
Yeah, I wasn't too wild about either side on that game. Flaherty, actually considered playing Flaherty for a bit, but didn't think he graded out quite as well as some of the other guys, Quintana in particular.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to me, I don't know. I wasn't crazy about that game on either side. Whether for the Yankee game scare you guys at all, I mean, I'm trying to figure out where to get off the Yankees now, but I think Jake you're giving it a little more time, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a little more time, and then I'm gonna try to fix my crunch here if I need to. I'll make a call at 6:40 Eastern about.
Apparently one of the popular optimizers, which we do not use, is currently down, and it's a darn shame. I think if they gave me more freebies, they probably would be up right now. But that stuff, hopefully they'll be up in time for you guys, so don't sweat it. It is down for everyone, not just you. Where is Chubster? Chubster will be back tomorrow. Josh Chubster Engelman will be here sharing as usual. You didn't ask him about the origin.
I forgot.
It's very upsetting. But we got it back. We got it back on the show. Favorite low-owned stack. Where would you go tonight for lower ownership stack? I would say the Mariners because I think they're going to be pretty low-owned.
I think the Mariners will be decently low-owned. We have them pretty low-owned individually. And then I like the Braves against Roark a little bit. Who else do I have? Oh, the Padres against Wei and Chin. Mostly Renfroe, Villanueva, and Perella. But I've got some Reyes in there for 2,800 as well. Okay.
There's people asking for dongs already. Are we ready to? I mean, I was gonna go with the Yankee anyway. I guess I could do it if you're ready.
Yeah.
We have Josh in the chat.
You give yours first. I'll have mine by time.
Think I'm gonna go. Josh wants 10 minutes. Okay. You know what? Fine. You know what? If Josh gets 10 minutes, we all get 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna make.
Okay. I've got mine. I just picked mine.
No. We're gonna wait for Princess Chubster over there. He's playing FIFA and wants to take his time. So we'll wait until Princess comes back with his pick. Josh will go first in the chat, and then we'll make our home run picks.
That's fine.
It's been a tough call. You know, to be clear, I only went with Stanton one time, and I proved that just because you pick Stanton doesn't mean it's a for sure thing. It's, if anything, we should all thank me for being brave enough to make picks of these guys in non-adverse conditions. Like, wow, how courageous of me being willing to, stake my reputation and be wrong. That's where the true bravery is, being willing to be wrong and get back up.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Whatever. Look, he didn't hit the home run. If he hit the home run, maybe I'd feel bad. But he didn't hit the home run.
Yeah.
And I picked Robbie Grossman. You know who sucked real bad? Robbie Grossman. So he was gross, man.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
That was a tough night for those guys. Let's see. Kyle Heath lost in FIFA. I'm sorry. I'm sure Josh can relate. So you can commiserate with him tomorrow when he's on the live stream for our Friday closeout show.
How do you guys have time to play FIFA? DFS going on. Come on.
I know, right? I mean, it's not. He's off the clock, I guess. So good for him that he can relax and luxuriate in a little soccer.
That's true. I take that back. Actually, play as much FIFA as you want, as long as you got us on in the background.
Who's the most likely popular player or stack to fail? Let's keep it broad because it's a shorter slate.
Say that again.
Who is the most popular pitcher or stack or individual player that you think will fail tonight?
that I think will fail. I like to go with pitchers, so I think Kershaw. I think he could fail. I think people are expecting. Yeah, so I think people are expecting too much out of him in his first start back. That's like the context in which I think he'll fail. I don't think he gets you like 30 points like he's usually good for in prime Kershaw days. I don't think this is going to be one of those days. So if he smashes, then I'm going to get smashed. But that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, there's still okay to fade him because he is the highest price pitcher on the slate, even though he is cheap for what his value should be and relative to some of the other, theoretical top flight pitchers, though Kershaw hasn't showed it this year. Yeah. People having problems on FanDuel. I don't know about that, but a lot of issues across all of the daily fantasy sports things that people need to change their lineups. So stick with it, guys. You got time. You got another 40 minutes.
Yeah. Hopefully they get that fixed. Because if not, there's going to be a lot of angry people. And rightfully so.
Seems suboptimal to not have your site working. But that's happened with DraftKings before, too. It happens sometimes. People are not perfect in technology, unfortunately. That's you'd like them to be, but it is an imperfect science.
It is.
And I disagree. I guess I didn't really chime in fully, but I agree Kershaw's most likely to fail. I just think the Phillies get on base well enough. They might be able to bat him off enough. Where I don't want to risk that with the guy who's coming off of an injury. Let's see him do it for a game first.
I agree, and it would be different for me if he had looked like vintage Kershaw before the injury. So, I think just people are expecting too much, and I'd like to take advantage of that.
JM talking that he listened to the podcast that Adam Levitan did with Kandia. Yeah, I just, not to promote somebody else's content again, but I thought that was really interesting. So if you're a person who's watching this channel frequently, which we hope you are, you should go listen to that too. It's an interesting little take on a guy who's one of the top players in the DFS industry and, who had some struggles with various things and worked through it and inspirational in some ways, a little, reflective in others, but worth a listen.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely an interesting listen. I listened to it too last week.
Okay, I don't know if you did or didn't. I don't put you on the spot.
No. Whatever you think. It was interesting, regardless. So, he doesn't have to be your best friend. You don't have to change your thought of him as a player, but it's relatable to some people's lives for sure. We can promote other content.
Oh, no, I have no issue with that. Listen, I have no issue bashing people or saying things are good. I think that's the honesty we try to present on this channel as best we can.
Yeah, if something's good and it's not from our site, there's other good stuff in the industry. It's not just us, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't also subscribe to us if you're at other places. There's good stuff all around.
Yeah, it's us first and then everything else.
Right.
But definitely, it's a trickle-down economy, though, that starts really with the awesomemode.com. And by the way, if you're not a premium member of awesomemode.com, you should be. All the stuff that we reference and talk about is up there as well for all the sports. And for NBA in particular, which I guess we could talk about a little, so I just don't want to, because I don't really know what to say about it, to be honest. But there is a lot of stuff on there which could be helpful because DraftKings is doing an alteration on their usual showdown slates where now, I don't know if they're doing this for hockey too, Jake, but where you pick a captain who gets 1.5 times the points for 1.5 times the price.
So I don't think they've changed that yet for hockey, and I don't know if they're going to. It's a little bit late. I guess hockey and basketball are at the same stages in their season. So did they just switch that now, or was that always a mode?
Just for the finals they started doing that. I think a lot of people complained about it being a 50 to, in my case, a 650 person tie for first place. So I think they decided to switch it up.
I think that's smart, just because it does make lineups a little bit different. It's not going to make it so there's not ties or anything with so many entries. And I think that's probably why they didn't do it in hockey, because there's just a lot less interest. There's a lot less entries that you can usually get pretty unique. And then also with hockey, there's 18 skaters you can play. And yeah, the fourth liners suck, but sometimes they score goals, and it's just a different type of game. So I don't think it's really necessary for DraftKings to do it. I know FanDuel does do it though for hockey.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I don't know, the FanDuel one for some reason didn't appeal to me, and I guess I'm also just more DraftKings loyal. I mean, same as you, I think. But it's like, it's interesting. Like, I like it being a different wrinkle. It's like a huge tournament though. The one thing that kind of sucks is like the buy-in they're doing for the big one tonight is like $18, and it's kind of annoying because the buy-ins keep getting higher as the season goes. But it's like $18, and then the top prize is like 250 grand, which is pretty, obviously pretty appealing. But it's tough when you're like, basically, like, I don't bankroll more than 300 a night usually because that's sort of where I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And like for that, then you're basically talking like a fraction of the entries that somebody else is going. I don't mind going like 20 on 150 from somebody else, but going like 10 on versus 150 max entered is a little tough. But
especially when there's so few options. Like everything's gonna be taken from every angle. That's just kind of what you can do with a one-game slate.
Yeah, so I mean, we could talk about that a little more. If you guys have questions about that, we're getting a lot of baseball questions right now, so we'll hit baseball, circle back to the NBA since it's a later start time anyway. Weather concerns. The only one we're concerned about right now is the Yankee game, right, Jake?
Yeah,
gulp, Jake.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that is the only one I'm concerned about. I don't really see anything else that should matter. So that's the main one. Everything else looks like it's going to play okay. Maybe a delay in Atlanta, but probably
not. Which high stack would you recommend with the Padres tonight, or I guess high-owned stack rather, from Jason Kelly? Houston, the Yankees, who we're still dicey on, or the Cardinals?
I mean, I like Houston. They're my number one stack. I've got the most exposure to them by a pretty wide margin, even if the Yankees game goes. So, yeah, I would be definitely on Houston.
How do you feel about your boy Tyler Flowers? Oh, sad news first. Tyler O'Neill got optioned to AAA. Sad. I was like, we talked about it. Where I was like, are they like getting him out? Sad. Sexy muscles. And I guess it's not his time to shine. But I'm rooting for him to come back up. Hopefully later this year.
The Mariners lineup just dropped too. So.
Anything unexpected there?
I think it's pretty much as expected. The only thing is that Zunino's batting 9th and not. I think he was supposed to be 7th or 8th. A lot of sites I'm at. So it doesn't really change much for me. He's probably still going to see Minor a couple times, and that's why you're playing Zunino. You're not playing him to go up against a righty anyways.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I liked him a little more. I think he was maybe at 7th before. Because actually I have him in my lineup right now. He was tentatively going to be my home run pick. Now I'm not so sure. I'm going to have to go down to the wire on that whenever Chubster finishes his game of FIFA and can give us his home run pick. Jake, are your top 3 pitchers still the same from your article?
Yeah, let me go here. So, hold on a second. Let me go to my pitchers here. All right. Yeah, so LeBlanc is my number 1 exposed guy. He's more of a price play, but he actually has been pretty good as far as getting chases. I like Quintana. The only issue I have with him is that the ownership is going to be way, way up there. So a couple pivots I like are, we mentioned Bieber, and then the other guy on the other side of that game, Odorizzi, I like a little bit just as a pivot. 7,700, just he's been good. And then on the road against right-handed pitchers this year, the Indians have a K rate over 25, a 73 WRC plus, and then the league's lowest on-base percentage. So that's in one split that, you shouldn't take that to the bank, but it's enough for me to at least consider Odorizzi based on how he's pitched lately, being at home, to take a chance because I know he's going to be way, way less owned than Quintana.
Oh, there we go. So Chubster, Josh Engelman, better known as the Chubster to all his friends and family. So that's what we call him now because we are his friends and family. We've earned the right to call him Chubster. But he is going with a pick in that Indians-Twins game. He's going against Jake Odorizzi. The Minnesota Jakes, double represented by both you and Jake Odorizzi tonight. I always want to go against Odorizzi because he gives up. I think he gives up like a pretty bad exit velocity, right? You think it's one of the reasons why?
Yeah. Here, let me look it up.
So he's 71st worst rather in barrels per plate appearance, 88 miles per hour exit velocity. So like he should be bad, and he's never bad when I target him, and it's very upsetting. So I just want to reference that while Josh makes his pick.
Yeah.
While Chubbs rather makes his pick of Yonder Alonso. So there you go. Jake, who are you going with?
My pick is Mitch Haniger.
Oh, you're going my. All right. Well, I picked this guy once before and it worked out, and I think it's time to go back. Go with Ryan Healy. Actually, let me double confirm he's in the lineup, but
He's in.
he is. Okay, cool. So Ryan Healy is going to be my guy. So we are going. Josh Chubster Engelman is going with Yonder Alonso. Jake is going with. Did you go Haniger or Seager? I forgot.
Haniger.
Haniger, yeah, Mitch Haniger. And I'm going to go with Ryan Healy, a former home run pick who worked out. So the crown of dongs is on the line. The score for the season is still 4-2-1. It's like baseball. You can't hit a home run every time he comes to the plate, I guess. Right. How ironic. FanDuel apparently is up if you are worrying about that, according to reports in the chat. So go check that out. Hopefully it works for you. Do you think it's necessary to pay up for a pitcher, or is it better to pay down for two cheaper pitchers so you can stack your hitting? Well, I guess that's a slate by slate question. But Jake, what are you doing for this particular slate?
For this slate, I like paying down in the mid and low tier. I mean, I like Nola. I have a bunch of Nola exposure. I have very little Kershaw exposure, and then I like LeBlanc. I like Odorizzi a little bit. I like Bieber. So I'm going in the mid and low tier, mostly with LeBlanc.
Okay.
It sounds worse and worse every time I say that I'm playing LeBlanc. But.
I'm going with Jordan Lyles. I'm playing chalky Quintana. I just think Quintana's too good. Quintana, whatever. I think he's too good of a play that I just don't want to fade him. On this slate in particular, where I don't think Kershaw's that great, I think I'd rather go with Quintana. People asking about DK, so let's talk DK NBA real fast. To me, I think the question is, for the captain thing in particular, is how much do you want to pay? I don't want to pay 50% of my cap space for LeBron with the way that works. So I think he's a tough call to go with in that spot. I'm actually not totally sure on how to go. I think what Osmo and I kind of landed on as a consensus when I asked him earlier today was that you want to have the best value play in that 1.5 spot. So whoever you think is going to get let's say 5x or 6x or whatever that may be, to kind of maximize what you're getting out of it. So to me, I like Kevin Love in that spot, even though fantasy or whatever unnamed optimizers across the industry currently would push you towards Durant, I think, a lot. So I think Durant, Love, Thompson, those are the guys I'm more inclined to go with. Because I think that then they're at a price where it makes sense to play them. To me, Kevin Durant at 15.6 is a price you could play Kevin Durant at if he's in a good spot. So I don't know, and I think putting LeBron in that spot is just so much to pay for the captaincy. Paying $23,000 for a guy, even if he's going to get you 80 points, and there's a pretty big chance the Cavs get blown out too. So I would worry about putting LeBron in that spot. That said, I do think LeBron is pretty contrarian today, just because everybody assumes the Cavs are going to get blown out. Everybody assumes LeBron plays like shit in game ones. And I think that there's an opportunity to play LeBron at maybe less ownership than you might normally play him at. So, I think those are my kind of overall thoughts. I think everybody on the Warriors side is kind of interesting. It's just a matter of price. I think Draymond's probably going to go under-owned. He's at a good price. Love is pretty interesting to me, though. Again, worry about the blowout a little bit. Apparently, the optimizer site a lot of people use is functioning, according to our sideline reporter, Josh Chubster Engelman. So thanks, Josh. Is the roof open or closed in Houston? Back to baseball.
I saw that it was closed. Can someone confirm that in the chat? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I saw it from an unnamed site.
All right, so somebody confirm that. Do our reporting for us, please, while we talk to you. Shabazz Muhammad of the night. That's probably Jordan Bell for me. I think it's as cheap as I would go. Though David West, I kind of am curious about. I just think that maybe Bell took his minutes. I'm not sure, but I think that Bell's the one I feel safest about. Jordan Clarkson, too, I'm a little intrigued by, but I'm not doing enough entries tonight for if I bomb out tonight, I'm probably gonna do like the max 20 enter next time instead, because it's tough to only do like 10 entries of this shit, or whatever, 15 entries. SC down because they added cap. No, I don't think that's why that site's down. I'm sure that's some other issue. Maybe they're just popular. Who knows?
They're popular.
How do you feel about D. Gordon?
D. Gordon. I mean, I'm stacking up Seattle, so in a stack for sure. I mean, 3,500 for him. Leading off, not all that worried about lefty with Minor. He's giving up a bunch of hard hits to both sides. I'm not a big Mike Minor guy. That was a one-time thing against the Red Sox. It was slate specific. Do not hold me to Mike Minor, and he got like 12 points. So no Mike Minor.
Do you want to? How did Austin Bibbins-Dirks turn out, by the way? Because I actually didn't buy
terrible.
But it didn't work because Duffy was really good.
Yeah. So that was the thing. Like, if Duffy was going to be good, the Bibbins-Dirks play didn't even matter. Like, he needed to do. Right. I needed Bibbins-Dirks to get 12 and Duffy to get 2 for it to like matter, and it didn't matter. So.
Oh, well, at least you tried. Life is all in the living and the trying. And I think that's where you're at. How about the Cardinals tonight? We haven't really talked about them. I've seen Matt Carpenter touted in a few places. What do you think about them?
I think Carpenter's fine. He's the guy that I really like out of that Cardinals group. But I have no issue with the stack. Like, I love Tommy Pham for 4,600. So Carpenter, Pham, and then Jose Martinez. I just like. He's just got huge power. I don't love the full stack, but 4.6 run total, they're not getting talked about, I don't think, a lot, at least from what I've seen. So if you like them, they're not going to be that highly owned for a solid total in good hitting weather.
Who are you filing as your overall top DK pitchers tonight?
Point per dollar.
I guess who do you have the most on your crunches or your optimizations, rather?
All right, let's go to this right now. Here we go. Starting pitcher. Wade LeBlanc, Nola, and then Quintana, Bieber, Odorizzi, Lyles. I've got a little bit of Newcomb, and that's about it. So I'm playing 7 different pitchers tonight.
Okay, so you're gonna get a little taste of everyone in your lineups.
Yeah.
Maybe I can I might come up from Jordan Lyles because I don't know how to pivot off these Yankees. I had Torres and Judge, and there's nobody else in that price range between those two guys and positions who make sense, I think.
So the Yankees, they're already in a delay. If anybody didn't see that, at least from the sheet I'm seeing, is that right? They're already in a delay.
I haven't gotten an alert, but
oh god, yeah, it's delayed. That's not great. Just for uncertainty reasons, you don't know if they're gonna delay it, and then 5 minutes after lock, be like, we're not gonna play. It looks like it's gonna rain for a couple hours. So I don't know. I wonder if do the Yankees travel tomorrow, or do either of these teams travel tomorrow? That might have something to do with it.
I have no clue about that.
Let me check the schedule.
People saying the Houston roof is closed, by the way. I don't know that we ever go back on that, but there you go. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm going from the Yankees to who would I even go to at pitcher? What do you think about McCullers? I guess McCullers has one of the better money line things on the day. We have him as being okay for points, not great for value, but on this slate, it might work. I mean, I don't love going against the Red Sox.
No, I get the McCullers play for sure. I didn't end up with any. It's just a really, really tough matchup, and he's not someone that can't navigate a tough matchup and have success. So at that price, I think he's fine. I just didn't end up there because I liked some of the 7K guys. He's just in sort of an awkward price range for me. So McCullers, he's got great stuff. There's no doubt about it. And with Mookie Betts out of the lineup, that is a boost for him. It's going to be a boost for anyone. So if you like McCullers, go with McCullers, but I didn't end up on him.
I might be going McCullers tonight because, yeah, I guess that's what we're doing. I guess we're going McCullers. So bye-bye, Jordan Lyles. I'm still okay with you, Jordan Lyles, but not tonight. Not tonight. I'm not going to leave 1,800 on the table to play Jordan Lyles, I think is how I feel. I'd rather play McCullers versus a team who will probably rock him, but we'll find out. Best plays at catcher tonight. Who do you think?
Best plays at catcher tonight. Here we go. I like Zunino a ton. Wilson Contreras. Catcher's not all that great. Like, I don't really like a ton of guys. Those are the two main guys. And then, man, Fedorowicz for the Astros just because he's in a bunch of my Astros stacks. But I honestly don't know a ton about him as a hitter. So I just saw he was in, like, right before getting on the show, which he just came up in my crunches, unfortunately. I was really hoping it was going to be Stassi. I would have loved Stassi. I would have had the most exposure to him by far, but no Max Stassi.
Got to players in front of you, I guess.
Yeah.
Best rating according to Osimo, which if you're a premium member, you could look this up yourself. Would be Wilson Contreras for the Cubs. He's a B value, B in points projection. So that is who Osimo would recommend from just a projection standpoint. So there you go. Anything good here? People on and off McCullers. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I don't feel great about McCullers, but that's where we're going right now, I guess. Catcher. I'm going Zunino at catcher tonight, but that's because I have a Mariners stack. I like Mike Zunino a lot, though. I feel like he often, like the things that I look at, Mike Zunino grades out usually pretty well in. I don't love him hitting ninth, though. Kind of worries me.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really worry me. Eighth or ninth for a catcher. It's rare you get a catcher outside of a Contreras where they're batting fourth or fifth or something. So the spot in the order is not. What?
Yeah, maybe worries is not the right word, but like I liked him more when he was hitting seventh. I think that's more
for sure, for sure. Yeah, that's just logical. Chance for an extra at bat if it comes down to it. So hopefully he gets it done in his first or second at bat against Minor, and then you won't have to worry about that. So I've got a ton of Zunino. I've got some Mitch Gardner, and then Fedorowicz and Contreras.
We talked about McCullers. How do you feel? Somebody's asking about JD Martinez. How do you feel about him in this matchup?
I mean, I'm not really on that game outside of the Houston hitters. I probably should be on McCullers more because I like Houston bats so much. And if McCullers is pitching with the lead and he's able to just throw low-stress pitches all game, which I think he may be able to, then the play is making a little bit more sense as I talk through it more. I don't know. For 5,100 against McCullers, a righty, that's tough for me. I'm not liking JD that much.
I mean, JD versus righties, hitting 400 ISO, on base for 390. Some big numbers there. So, I mean, look, if you're going to – I think McCullers is a player where – I don't know if this is actually a great thought. Like, McCullers is a player you either want to play him or you want to fade him. I think, because he's going to go at guys. And, I think that, Martinez will either get him or, he'll strike out. And I think that's sort of how I view that game. So, I'm okay with McCullers. I feel like he's probably got a pretty wide, variance in outcomes.
Yeah, I agree. So that's what you want in GPPs. I mean, that's exactly the type of pitcher you want.
There you go. So, yeah. So, look, I'm great then tonight. I feel good. But I'm still playing Quintana, though. So Quintana will be chalky and hopefully a little safer than McCullers because McCullers, again, I won't be shocked if he ends up with, minus numbers, and I won't be shocked if he ends up with, 30. That's one that can go either way.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bieber. Let's give me your Bieber take one more time since people are probably filing in and wondering about this mysterious man with the pop star name.
I mean, he was just awesome at AAA. There's no getting around it. 1.10 ERA, and then I keep mentioning he was throwing a no-hitter. It got shortened by rain in his last start, 7 Ks through 7 innings. Yes, it's AAA. Yes, it's obviously major league hitters and not the greatest matchup, but at that price, I think he makes a lot of sense tonight, even as a pivot to Jose Quintana, if you're worried about the chalk.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, look, that he is, I think, the number 3 prospect in the organization by all grades, and he's, one of the people, it's not a shitty guy coming up, which I think the price is also reflecting, too. So, it's interesting. I think that there's maybe safer plays to go with given the matchup, but I don't mind the play either. Springer or Rizzo as a one-off on FanDuel.
Say that again. I was looking at the weather.
Sprizzo. Springer or Rizzo as a one-off on FanDuel.
Springer.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. Uh, Kemp for Astros. I don't know what that means.
Tony Kemp.
Oh, okay.
He's batting ninth, right?
Yeah.
He's batting ninth. Or, sorry, eighth. Lefty, but I have some Kemp. Had to lower my exposure to him. He came up a ton for me just because I had a ton of Houston stacks. So, he's a pretty decent hitter, I think. And then if you're assuming Pomeran's going to get knocked out, I like Kemp in a stack, but not as a one-off.
Okay. Kershaw. People talking Kershaw again. We'll give out Kershaw takes one more time. I'm personally not crazy about him just because the Phillies actually grade out pretty well in terms of getting on base and being able to, kind of make it tough on him. And a guy coming off of the DL with a bicep injury, I don't love that recipe given that he might be throwing more balls, and it's just like for a guy at his price, even though it's a pretty good value for Kershaw, I'd rather not go there. But Jake, your Kershaw thoughts? Or the Kershaw aficionados?
He just wasn't the same old Kershaw before the injury. Now coming back from the injury, maybe on a pitch count, just a few red flags for me. And at increased ownership, I think that's enough for me to be well under the field. Like, I don't know. I'm going to run my crunch probably one more time. I don't know if I'll have any Kershaw. I might have like 2 or 3%, but that's really about it. Not liking him at all.
Yeah, look, I'm with you on it. I mean, the Vegas totals, it's there, but even though his money line's not great, I think Vegas doesn't expect me pitching deep. So, I think that alone would make me a little hesitant, but yeah, and also at half the field owning him, I don't know. Oh, actually, we have McCullers being pretty highly owned too. Fuck, here I felt special playing Lance McCullers, and he's apparently the third highest owned pitcher. Oh well. Well, me and Lance McCullers, we're broing out tonight. Whatever.
There's worse guys to bro out with than Lance McCullers.
Yeah, look, he's got a good bro name too, and he seems like a bro from the little that I've gathered. So
good beard. You guys can talk about your beards together.
Yeah, I'm in for it. Oh, there we go. There's.
Now I gotta check on that. I gotta check to see if he's got a beard. Yeah, he does. I was gonna say, you guys got a similar beard style, and there you go.
Oh, good. So yeah, me, Josh, and him, we can all do that. You got to grow one, Jake. Apparently, it's a requirement for the channel. We all have to have kind of dirtbaggy shit beards.
Well, got a little shadow going. Probably gonna cut it off tomorrow, but.
You are the fresh cut guy. When you get older, you'll realize, I should just grow a beard so I look like every other fucking guy in his late 20s and early 30s.
Yeah, exactly.
People talking Flaherty. What do you think about Flaherty?
I'm not on Flaherty. Just Pirates don't really strike out that much, and then he's super expensive. So, I just didn't end up on him. I think there are better options. If I'm going in that price range, it's McCullers, and I didn't really end up on McCullers, so not going to go with Flaherty either.
If Flaherty going to be low owned according to our projections, so if you want to make an argument for that, hey, that's a variance play, sure. Why not? But yeah, I'm sticking with McCullers for now. Why not? Even though he's going to be, I really liked him more when I thought he was going to be contrarian to be 10% maybe McCullers, but I don't know, not 30%. Did you end up playing Yankee Oriole players? I took mine out.
I'm keeping mine in.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm just gonna let it ride, and if I get burned, I get burned. But I think if they wait long enough, they should be fine. It's just a matter of if they want to wait. It could get postponed. So if you're worried about a postponement at all, and you just don't want to risk it, and you're playing limited lineups, then don't go with the Yankees. But I have a bunch of lineups, and I can I can live with the postponement in a few of them.
Huh. All right. I'm only playing a single entry, so I don't want to have that kind of risk anyway. But yeah, I'm off the Yankees, and I like Torres a lot. I actually liked Andujar before he was not in the lineup. But Torres and Judge I like a lot, but I don't want to play that risk. Sure. Not playing that game, mi amigo. Let's see, nothing. People talking about Polanco. I don't think that's a big reason to play Flaherty.
Who? Polanco?
I assume they're talking about Polanco striking out.
I don't know. He was hurt, wasn't he? So I wouldn't worry about it.
guys making bets and stuff in the chat. Hey, if you make a bet in the chat, you better fucking follow through. I don't encourage like side gambling in the chat, but we won't have any renegers and welchers on bets in the chat. So if you're making bets, better follow through.
Venmo needs to be used if you're making bets. There needs to be, you can Venmo me, and then I will pay out, taking of course my 10% rake.
That's right. You could be a bookkeeper. This would be a great way for us to start a side bookkeeping business. That is probably still illegal. I think we need to file some paperwork and wait a few months. But it's, hey, why not? Why not? We got traction. We'll take your action. Hunter Renfroe. What do you think about Hunter Renfroe today?
Oh yeah, I love Renfroe. Yeah, just got big power going up against the lefty. You like that. And then Wei and Chen has home run problems. So yeah, love me some Renfroe.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Jake's Sportsbook, sponsored by Baseball Savant. You could kind of double dip your business enterprises there, and your side investment in Razzball, I think, could come in handy too. You got a lot of good traction across the internet to leverage for this sportsbook that we're building.
These sites, man, they just need to start. Just give me like $1 every time it's mentioned. Yeah. Give them a bunch.
Look, I hope they appreciate the free plugs. I think the MLB one day will make us aware that they're like, wow, we noticed so much traffic ever since Jake became the official spokesman for this. It's so happy.
Oh man.
Cleveland stack. Any thoughts on the engines tonight?
Well, I mean, I like Odorizzi. Just because I have a ton of lineups, I have Cleveland stacks too, but it's limited exposure. I like Ramirez as a one-off. I like Lindor as a one-off. I like Brantley as a one-off. If you want to stack all three, that's where I would go. But not crazy about the Indian stack. I think Odorizzi can pitch pretty well here.
He is a favorite of the Minnesota Jakes, of course. But I didn't go to the Indians either. I guess if you were gonna play, looking at it now, I mean, Josh's home run pick looks pretty good. There are a few guys who are playable there, but Odorizzi's been pretty decent, or at least enough where I'm not crazy to go against him. Jared Jones asking about LeBlanc. If you want to give your LeBlanc love again one more time.
Just making a bunch of guys miss, making a bunch of guys chase, and these Rangers will chase. So Beltre back in the lineup hurts a little bit, but not enough for me to be off of LeBlanc, and I'm going to be healthily over the field multiple times from what we have him projected. Just 5,500 against this team as a lefty. I think he can get a few strikeouts here as well and go pretty deep.
I'm trying to think why I got off LeBlanc. I think it was because our grade for him was particularly bad. I feel like that's what – like ever since I ignored the CC Sabathia grades, I feel like that's one thing I check now just to cross-reference. So we have LeBlanc graded as a D in points and a C in value. So not terrible. He's not an E range, but not fantastic.
No. I don't like I said, I don't expect him to be great, but
I mean, you played Austin Bibbins-Dirk, so the bar is pretty low for what you'll roster.
I would bet he gets
You're looking
more points than
AM at a bar. You'll take any of them home.
Yeah. Bibbins-Dirk, man.
Bibbins-Dirk was a real last call one where you're like, oh, his ass looks kind of fat in those jeans, I guess. Like, that's good enough. That's good enough for me to make this work.
Yeah.
All right, Draymond or Clay? I would go Draymond. I think there's nobody really who is in a great spot. Quavion Monroe, I did NBA talk a little earlier, but Jake's not playing NBA. Josh doesn't even play NBA, so it's hard to kind of go back and forth. But if you have questions, drop them in the chat, and I'll hit them before we go off the air here. Okay, nothing. That's not really a question. You have Bieber fever?
You could say that. I just
Bieber
really
Mace.
like that range, and I think Quintana's going to get most of the ownership, so I'm spreading it out.
I think it's logical. I like Quintana a lot, but at that much ownership for a guy like Quintana, definitely there's a logic in going another direction.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any thoughts on Larry Nance tonight? I like Larry Nance. I think that both he and Thompson are a little interesting. I don't think I ended up with a ton of them in my lineups because they're guys I want to play more. And I think the way to approach it is to go to like Jordan Bell priced guys. So that was sort of how my lineup instructions shook out. But I do like Nance. I think they're going to need Nance. I think they're going to need Thompson. They have to have guys who can kind of get up for rebounds and get more possessions because the Warriors are going to take a lot of them. So, yeah, if you were to run 150 lines for NBA, what would be my strategy for lower your pool? Oh, for lowering my pool, I mean, you're trying to play guys who are in the rotation, and you're trying to maybe not play like a Smith and a Korver, so you're trying to kind of kill the overlap. But the strategy, like it's a one-game slate, so you're kind of trying to play a certain amount of outcomes, and every guy's in the rotation should be in the mix if you're playing 150 lineups. I like using Love in the captain slot with LeBron. I actually do have a couple with that because I think there's a chance that the Cavs win. Like I actually have a hard time saying that. Then there's a chance the Cavs win tonight. And I think it's a super contrarian play to think that. Love's at a pretty good price, and he's actually been priced at what his captain price is, like during regular showdown games. So I think he's actually shown the upside you want out of a captain slot. So I think that there is some logic there. That said, the optimizers that I ran did not come up with Kevin Love a lot, so I don't even know. And Osmo's MLB rankings, the position salary for Jose Ramirez are wrong. I don't really.
Oh, because there's a relief pitcher, Jose Ramirez, too. That could be it.
Well, that's not ideal. Don't play the pitcher as a hitter.
Yeah, don't do that.
That would be my suggestion. Yeah, it's not a great idea. It's a non-zero chance the Cavs win. I agree, Ryan. I think there is in a world of infinite possibilities, like I often say in this live stream, there's at least two out there where the Cavs are winning tonight. So, and the Warriors are fucking so entitled and such assholes this year. Like, I like them, but they really expect every game to just be handed to them. So Cleveland comes out with a chip on their shoulder, which I think they can. I think then LeBron is going to be valuable. Love obviously be valuable. I think JR is an interesting spot because he's so cheap. Korver too, if he gets enough minutes. Korver's going to be a big issue defensively, so I worry a little bit about Korver. But yeah, I'm actually intrigued by the idea of the Cavs winning. I've thought about putting a bet on the Cavs money line tonight, but I haven't done it yet. We'll see. Any baseball questions? Get them in. You guys have like 7 minutes till lock, so do that. Is Hood in the doghouse? Yeah, I don't know. Hood could play tonight. Hood? I guess it's surprising. Rodney Hood.
I'm kidding.
For the Cavs. What's Hood? What's good? Not Rodney Hood though. Rodney Hood's not. But you could play him. I mean, like I think Clarkson would be the play I would make if you're trying to go super cheap. I could also see David West being useful, but Rodney Hood I don't trust unless you have 150 lineups. Then play some Rodney Hood. Feel good about it. Jeff Green or Bell in a FanDuel GBP. With Love back, I think it's Bell. I don't see any reason to go Green. Though I don't know what the price difference is on FanDuel. They're pretty differently priced on DraftKings. If it's like close, there is an argument to be made for Green. But I'd rather go Bell with Iguodala still out. Jake, if Bieber or LeBlanc get over 25, this guy will do his Hariism deal again. So there's a lot on the line for you. Your cult of people who believe in your pitching skills, all dependent tonight on Bieber or LeBlanc.
25? I'm not expecting 25. But if he gets 25, I'll make a lot of money.
LeBlanc could definitely get to 25. That's possible. He's been there, right? I think.
Oh boy, this year?
Yeah, I feel like maybe there was one game.
Maybe. But
maybe that might just be wishful thinking for you.
It could be.
Best captain choice for DK. I would say it's probably Durant based on what my research is, but I'm personally going with actually no. I'm a pretty even split on like Durant, Love, a little bit of Clay. I just didn't want to go too expensive for those guys because that just didn't make sense to me from what I was building my projections around. Since I use an optimizer, I'm not doing like multiple lineups by optimizer. I'm doing them by hand, so I'm not setting exposures. Do you think the Yankees game will end up playing? Jake, you still do?
Yeah, I'm keeping my Yankees exposure, but keep in mind I've got a bunch of lineups, so it's not like I'm like if I had one lineup, I'd probably fade the Yankees, but I've got a bunch, so can take that risk.
Lindor or Correa on DraftKings?
I like Correa.
You think of Curry as the captain? I don't like Curry's price as the captain. I think like even 1.5x. Like I don't want to pay 17 grand for Curry. Like I think that's not. I don't think that's how with my projections. That's how you win the slate. That said, this is kind of an unproven turf. I think Curry's a good play. I don't know that I like him as a captain. I just think that's a lot to pay for a guy. Small ball forcing Tristan Thompson to the bench. I don't know about that. I would worry about his effectiveness more, but like really their best shot is to play big. They try to run with the Warriors, they're going to get smoked. So they need to kind of have Thompson in there and Nance. So I don't know. I don't buy that. I'm not playing a lot of Thompson, but I don't think that he's going to not get minutes. Anything else? Who do you like in the late slate on FanDuel between the pitchers and hitters on Miami and the Padres and the Rangers and Mariners? I guess which stack and which pitcher would you be most inclined to play out of those 4 games?
Seattle and Wade LeBlanc and the Padres. So.
Yeah, I think the Seattle stack would be my one, and I guess a pitcher. I'd probably go Lyles. I like Lyles more than LeBlanc personally.
That would be my second option for sure.
Showers will continue until 2 a.m., Jake, according to Sushane Kumar, who's a regular here.
What's that?
Showers to continue until 2 a.m. for that Yankees-Orioles game.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Just saying, you got 3 minutes if you want to tuck your dick back in your pants instead of put it on the line like that.
Let's see. Well, we're going to keep it.
Okay.
If you don't want to ride with me, that's understandable. But whatever.
Okay. Going full Nelly on. They want to ride with you. They got to know how to get high with you. Exactly. Brandon is right. Cavs D is poop. I agree. Like I think. So what worried me a little about Clay? Clay wasn't that great in the finals last year. He was okay, but I don't know if like what the issue is there. I don't know if maybe J.R. Smith defends him well, which is like a funny sentence. That said, I think Clay is a pretty good play. I don't see the Cavs being able to defend them. It's just like he's my least favorite play out of all those guys at a raw points level. But value-wise, I think he's in the mix for sure. I agree Draymond will go ham tonight. I think Draymond's a fantastic play. And I think I have one lineup with him as a captain because I think that there's a chance that that's contrarian and that Draymond puts up like 55 points. That would be great if you 1.5x'd it. Drew Dillon says a lot of other radars are not predicting rain that late. So
yeah, I'm not seeing until 2 a.m.
But do you think it's a good player pool for the FanDuel spots? Unfortunately, Aquavion, I'm not playing FanDuel, and I can't tell you that offhand. Don't know, unfortunately. But if you check our rankings, they would be helpful. Clay and his threes aren't necessary when the team goes out. Yeah, Clay is actually, I think Fantasy Labs does something with that, which I don't use that site currently, but I've used it in the past, where they track like who's better in a blowout. And I think it's generally Steph is the better player in a blowout than Clay. So I don't know if that's like, yeah, like some guys just do better in the NBA, get that usage earlier for blowouts usually. So it's something, I don't know, but don't quote me on that. KD's more of an ISO guy to this DFS scoring. KD takes usage away from Curry. KD is my least favorite guy in a blowout because a lot of his minutes come in those, like, especially in the playoffs. A lot of his minutes come and his usage rather comes later in the game because they need his ISO offense when it gets tighter defensively. So I think there's definitely a dynamic there which can vary based upon the games and how you think they're going to play out. What is the rankings on your guys' site? Look it up, Aquavion. That's why I mentioned it. Clay does one thing. Swear something you did. Oh yeah, we're locked now. Jake's going with the Yankees.
I got a bunch of Yankees. So whatever. If it gets postponed, it gets postponed, and I lose those entries. If not, could be I mean, I'm sure a bunch of people pivoted off the Yankees, which I get for sure, especially in single entry. Do
you want to see how your ownership shakes out? Why don't we do that while we have start a little late? Give them a few more minutes.
What's that?
See how your ownership is shaking out since you have a bunch of lineups.
Oh, just like the ownership of my players.
Yeah, like how they're looking in tournament wise.
Yeah. Do you mean like? Okay.
Like, what's the ownership of the guys you have in the tournament?
Gotcha. So
yeah,
in the
because Josh just does that random. Josh does it every time, like on his own, and I feel like I like that. So do it like Josh does, Jake.
So you got Judge at about 12%, probably like 15 to 20 at the higher stakes. I don't know. Stanton 8.8. You got Machado 3.4. This is in that mini max. I'm trying this mini max.
That's probably. I think those are pretty close usually to like the big like $8 and whatever tournaments.
I mean, it'll be less concentrated, I would think, just because there's probably not that many sharp players, or not as many sharp players as there would be in an $8 tournament. Let's see here. Just scrolling through. I got Greg Bird at 7%. Yeah, I mean, I could just download the CSV. That'd probably be an easier way to talk about this, but
I don't know. It's just I was like thought you might have had a few up and then we could look through it, but it's okay. But that's enough. It's interesting that people had some Yankees. I was just curious mostly about that because like 10% is not an insignificant amount of people who are still riding with that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would have been if there was no weather concerns all day. I think they would have been 20+% for sure.
Yeah, it's a good value if you're willing to lose your money for those lineups.
Yeah.
Thinking blowouts, Clay gets left in longer. Brandon T, I think you're right. I think it's Curry who usually is the one who initiates offense that gets into blowouts, but Clay is on the floor longer. And Clay obviously gets hot too. Like he'll have those quarters where he'll put up 20 points. So I think that I think you're right there. I think there's like a value in both of them and they correlate well together. But Durant though is the one who correlates the least positively, I guess is the best way to put it. Is Clarkson too ballsy? I think Clarkson's interesting in both like blowout builds and just in general. Like they need offense from somewhere. He's a high usage player. He's gotten some run. I wouldn't play like a ton of him, but if you have enough lineups to play him, I think having one or two of them would be great. Quarter jukebox Yankees average out 10%, so I guess that's probably true across everything. Yeah, cool. All right, no good questions left. So yeah, make sure if you're not subscribed to the channel, do that. Like the videos. Check out Jake's Night Shift podcast thing and Jake and Josh in the morning talking MLB stuff. We do these shows every night too, so we'll be back tomorrow. If you're not an Osmo.com premium member, make sure to sign up for that because all the things that we talk about and the questions you ask can often be solved by just having a membership and looking it up yourself. Having the tools in front of you so you're not relying on secondhand information and guesswork. So go sign up for that on Osmo.com. Join. NBA in particular is real cheap right now, so get in there while you can. Jake, any parting words on your ballsy Yankees play or anything else?
No, good. Go Wade LeBlanc. That will be my parting words.
Yeah, I mean, fuck Wade LeBlanc would be how I feel about it. And also, fuck Fernando Gomes. Hey, what are you talking about, buddy? I've mentioned your name multiple times in here. Hurtful words, Fernando. But you can like whatever you want on the channel as long as you're subscribed. So thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.